Let me tell you a story before we begin.
Again, another story. Story time, everybody.
There was a camel traveling with his master.
0.0.
The camel said, "Let me put my nose in the tent if I may." "Why not?" said the owner. And in the nose went and warmed right up in the heat of the tent. Sometime later, the camel said again, "Could I warm my neck also?" "It doesn't bother me," the owner said. The camel looked about, feeling warm on his face. "Could I pull in my forelegs? You have plenty of space in there." The owner said, "Bah, I don't care." And the owner rolled a bit over to the right, making some space by his bed. "The flap is still open, and I've let in the cold. Can I come in all the way in?" asked the camel, quite bold. The owner just grunted and rolled over to his right. And the camel pushed in with all his might. And then he said, "I see there is no more room for two. One of us must go, and that person is you." And he pushed the owner out. What's the moral of this story? Don't allow even the smallest wrongdoing in your life. Otherwise, it will creep in and soon grow out of control. It will master you. This story could not be truer in our passage that we just read today. We look at the wonderful story of Israelites crossing over the Jordan River last week. God dried it up and made a path through it. They obeyed God even when things were not looking so good. After they entered the land, they went against the city of Jericho. And the Jericho was not just ordinary regular city. No, it was known to be unbreakable fortress. And here is why. Jericho was located on a hilltop that is about 14 meters from the ground. At the base of the hill, there was a retaining wall that was about 5 meters high. And on top of that wall, there was another wall called outer wall, like this wall. And that reached another 8 meters high. And then on top of the hill, which is really steep, there was another wall, inner wall. So you can see that nobody dared to invade Jericho back then. It was just impossible to get through not just one, but two walls. But for the Israelites, instead of laying siege or devising a strategy, they do something quite different. God commands all the Israelites to walk around the city once every day. And on the seventh day, they walk around 7 times.
And they blow
All Israelites. And at the end of the 7th run, the priest will sound the horn, and everybody was supposed to make a grunt or shout. "Ah!"
Yeah.
What does that have to do with winning the war? But they still obey God. They do exactly what God told them to do. And what happens? The walls come tumbling down. And they just walk up the city and just overtook the city. And they won the battle without even raising their swords like that. They won the war just like that. Wow. What a story. God was with them. God was fighting the war for them. And no walls could stand against them. Now then, Jericho has been conquered. Everything else should be easy from now, right? There was another city nearby Jericho, Ai. Compared to Jericho, it was a really small city. It was like a town size. So they guessed, 3,000 men should be enough to overtake the city. So they sent the 3,000 men over there. Can you guess what happened there?
They lost.
Yeah, they lost. They fled for their life, and 36 men died on one day. The Israelites were shocked, and they were wondering, "I thought God was with us all the way through, and there was no one in this whole land that could stand against us. Did God change his mind? What will happen to us now? Are we lost?" They despaired, and their hearts melted in fear. So Joshua went up to God and asked, "Why?" And God gives the answer. Stand up. What are you doing down on your face? Israelites has sinned. They have violated my covenant, which I commanded them to keep. They have taken some of the devoted things. They have stolen. They have lied. They have put them in their own possessions. I will not be with you anymore unless you destroy whatever among you is devoted to destruction. Before they went up to Jericho, God gave one specific command. All the things in the city has to be devoted to God. Precious stones, jewels, gold and silver, everything has to be put in the temple. That was one simple command. But there was one man named Achan who broke his command. He saw this pile of gold and silver and a beautiful robe and took it for himself. Nobody was watching. Nobody noticed. I mean, one bar of gold and a little bit of silver and a robe. Considering how big the city was and how much plunder it was, that's a small thing. It was like taking $100 bill out of this pile of $10 million bills. Would anybody notice? No. Plus, it was just one man out of 1 million men. 1 out of 1 million? That's like 0.0001%. Come on, isn't God just being really picky here? Let me tell you about this guy here.
What is that?
It's a bacteria called Clostridium.
Science.
It's a bacteria that causes food poisoning. And it's a bacteria that grows faster than all bacteria. It can replicate itself every 10 minutes. That means after 10 minutes, there'll be 2. After 20 minutes, there'll be 4. After 30 minutes, there'll be 8. Doesn't sound much. 30 minutes, only 8. Well, it goes on and on until after a day. Do you know how many bacteria will be within a day? 22, 300, 745, 198, 530, 623, 141, 535, 718, 272, 648, 361, 105, 980, 416. I don't even know how to count this number after just one day. You know, sin is just like this one bacteria. Can you see one bacteria with your eyes?
No.
I don't think so. It's really small than a dust. Much smaller than a dust.
Even then a
But if you let one sin in, you just say, it's just one sin. It's just a little thing, tiny thing. Who cares? You let him in. He creeps in. He grows. Until it comes out of control. It will eat up your life. And not just your life, your family, your friends, your country, soon your world. Because of one sin of one man, whole Israelite failed. And 36 people died because one sin of one man out of 1 million people. How about Adam and Eve? 2 people, one sin, broke the command, ate the fruit of knowledge of good and evil. What happened? The whole humanity faced death. And that's what sin is. That's what sin is. So we gotta watch out for that 0.0001%. Don't look over sin, however small, however insignificant it might seem like. Maybe lying just a little bit, a white lie. It's a small sin, right? Nobody got hurt. If you have that sin, it's not too late. Confess to God, God, I'm sorry. Because God sent Jesus Christ to die for all your sins. No matter how many sins you have, He can wipe them all out. All you have to do is confess your sin. So don't let the sin eat you up. Don't let him in. Don't look over. Be awake. Let me pray.